Oh, it's a tight one in here. Star Wars Battlefront Renegade Squadron, I like that. White Darth Vader PSP, nice unit. Collectible, that's great.
Customize your weapons better you can.
Dude, get your own Star Wars Battlefront Entertainment Pack. PSP.
Ray, I don't know about this. I thought I was coming here to play Rock Band.
No, dude, no, listen, trust me. This is gonna be great, okay? You're gonna love it. It's a pop culture phenomenon, okay? This is what it's all about.
Alright.
Alright. Alright? Okay. Let's watch.
I don't wanna go to work today. Wanna stay home and play all my video games on the One Up Show. You know you'll be a star on the One Up Show. You already are. Every day, this life's a holiday. One up, 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 one up on the One Up Show. One up, 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 one up on the One Up Show.
Well,
It's an Ivalice game, and there are two kinds of Ivalice games. There are the Yasumi Matsuno directed, hardcore, like
Vagrant Story.
very serious, very
FFT.
solemn Final Fantasy XII. And then there's like the fun, happy Ivalice stories like Final Fantasy Tactics Advance and A2. And this is definitely in the fun, happy side.
Right.
I mean, the director is Motomu Toriyama, who directed Final Fantasy X-2, and it feels like its relation to Final Fantasy XII is the same as X-2's relation to Final Fantasy X. It's a
Yeah.
spin-off. It's about secondary characters. I mean, Vaughn was technically the main character of 12, but not really.
I mean, and the tone is very light.
Broken into a mission structure. Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of has the same gameplay mechanics, the gambits and everything as 12, but it's greatly simplified. It works differently, but you kind of get where it's coming from.
For a strategy game, something positioned as a strategy game, there's no strategy, like at all.
But it's not really positioned as a strategy game. That's the thing. Square couldn't really decide how to position it. It was described
Well,
as
the thing is-
it was described as an RPG, then as an action RPG. They never actually used the term strategy
Well, also
because
the
I don't,
thing is,
I
you
don't
know-
think Japan really knows
Exactly.
what an RTS is.
Yeah, you can't
They're not
market that
known.
stuff to Japan anyway.
Yeah, they're not known for making RTSs.
Yeah, it's more of a my first RTS because it is
Yeah.
simplified, and I don't think it's a perfect game. I like it more than you, but the problem is later in the game when it becomes more difficult. It's difficult to micromanage your units. It's really hard to group people where you want to group them, to send them where you want to send them. It's a better strategy just to spam out lots of
Well,
units.
actually, what I found is that approaching this like an RTS, where you have lots of individual units that you're controlling, is a mistake.
Right.
You should really approach it like you've got 5 characters. It's an RPG where you have 5 characters, and they have a lot of little dudes who walk around with them.
That are expendable.
So yeah,
Very
so you
expendable.
basically, it's like support or something. You know, whichever their
Well,
strongest.
there is a
against.
little bit of a Pokemon, like, rock, paper, scissors deal going on with the enemy
Yeah.
types. And, like,
Well,
when you-
that's
normal.
hardly Pokemon. I mean, that's pretty common to RTS. You have aerial units that are strong against ground but weak against ranged. And,
But I think, this game
that's
isn't going
triangle.
after the RTS crowd. This isn't for people who play Supreme Commander. It's for people who grew up playing Final Fantasy and Pokemon. And I think they will find those touchstones and be able to like this game and play through it and enjoy it.
If you see it in that light, then it works. If you go into it thinking, hey, it's an RTS, then you're gonna be so sad.
Of the three of us, I'm probably not the biggest fan of 12. I respect it, but I didn't have a lot of fun with it. Oh yeah, right. But I think if you were a serious 12 fan, you might be disappointed by the tone, by the dialogue, by the characters, because they're really kiddie. I mean, there is a kid on a hoverboard. You know, like
They are
did
literally kids.
did,
They're like 11
did
and 12-year-old
FF12 need
kids.
a little kid on a hoverboard?
Not necessarily, but it does work better because Vaughn actually is the main character this time, and Vaughn is kind of an idiot. He's kind of stupid
Well,
and
Vaughn
kind
and
of
Penelo
immature.
both, they're just kind of goofy kids. Like,
Well, Penelo was actually more like
compared
kind of like comparatively she was a lot
compared
more mature. She was just inexperienced and kind of young.
But yeah, the tone is very lighthearted.
Yeah.
Wacky kids on a big adventure. You know, it is. It's very traditional Japanese RPG. Well, so we disagree about the combat and about the story, but we can all agree that the graphics and the presentation are among the best on DS. Like the cutscenes are really good. There's a lot of them.
No, the
Take it or leave it.
FMVs I don't like, but I think the game itself, like, there's a lot of really detailed sprite work, and it zooms in and out, so sometimes it's kind of pixelated. But if you actually pay attention to the animation, there's a lot of characters in the game, and all of them have a lot of animations. But yeah, and I do like the fact that this has a lot of. It carries over a lot of Final Fantasy XII elements, like the gambits and the summons, and
But they're gambits in name only.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, it's just
Well,
a macro.
and like,
Not
what do they
exactly
call like
gambit.
the license board thing? It's not a license board. It's just how you get your summons
can't
now.
remember.
But it's similar to license
Yeah.
board. It's a very similar system. You know.
Yeah.
I think that even though it's limited, that kind of works in its favor because the DS doesn't have enough screen resolution, doesn't have enough power to really pull off a true full-scale RTS. I think the game works well for the hardware, and ultimately that's kind of what it's got to do. So that's fine.
I mean, I think my final takeaway was that this is a pretty good FF game for DS. It's not perfect, but it's a good template, and I would like to see a sequel because I think if they fixed a lot of the little problems and added like a multiplayer mode, this could be something really great in the future.
I wholehearily agree.
You do?
I do.
You don't want to cancel the series because you hate
No.
it so much?
No, I'm an optimistic sort. No, yeah. Let's try it again, sure. Why not?
You'll give it a second shot.
I sure would.
So I think I propose a toast with Final Fantasy Potion to.
This is a 2004 vintage.
This is the 2006 vintage.
Oh,
I've been saving it for a special occasion.
and I gotta say the flavors sound pretty exciting. There's a lot of different herbs in here.
Sweet
Something called Melissa, thyme, sage, royal jelly,
mouthwash.
Prometheus elixir. Oh, what the?
Right? Yes. Celebrate.
I gotta
the
say,
moments of your life.
this looks like the fluoride rinse they gave you in like first grade. The whole class had to swish and spit.
Do I get a wafer too?
No.
I don't have any wafers. I have some cookies.
So toast to the Ivalice Alliance.
To Yasumi Matsuno being still alive.
Whoa.
Nah.
It tastes like it's like Flintstone vitamins.
So this is Wonder Boy.
Yeah,
Did you
second
say
Wonder Boy.
you were killing Santa Maria?
What are you guys doing here so late?
Oh, what's up, Brian?
What is this?
Just watching Game Center CX.
Game Center CS. Is that like a Japanese game convention or something?
No, X.
Oh, X.
Yeah,
Got it.
No, it's like the best Japanese video game show like ever.
What's it about?
Well, it's about the host is this comedian guy, Shinya Arino.
Okay.
And he just basically plays all these sorts of retro games, and he has to beat them, and that's basically it. He'll spend like 13 hours a day trying to beat this stuff. So
That's a good idea.
yeah, instant comedy value.
Wow. It's not in English, right? You guys don't speak Japanese, dude.
No, ish.
Ryan, look at my hair.
You can understand it because they're old games. A lot of them have come out here before, so I mean it's easy to relate.
All right. Well, anyway, enjoy this, and if anyone ever subtitles it in English, let me know.
Yeah, sure.
right, have a good
Games
night.
here
Good
for
luck.
you too. All right.
All right. Watch.
Is a tight one in here. Star Wars Battlefront Renegade Squadron. I like that. White Darth Vader PSP. Nice unit. Collectible. That's great.
Customize your weapons better you can.
Dude, get your own Star Wars Battlefront Entertainment Pack.
All right, there's the show.
Right.
And the show is about the guy playing these really difficult old school games.
Right.
Like the one we were watching was Wonder Boy
Right.
in Magical Land. and he just plays them for punishment value.
Right.
He's so frustrated with playing these hard, challenging games that he actually turns into a digitized monster himself, and he sends you as a player back into the past and sends you to, complete a bunch of challenges.
What it basically is, it's just a collection of fake retro games, of, NES games.
Right.
And the point is just to complete all these little challenges, achievement type challenges or whatever.
So what is the appeal of something like? Could you enjoy this if you hadn't seen the show? Or is it contingent on you being a Game Center CX fan?
You don't really need to watch the show because none of these games really have much to do with what's been on the show before.
If you were to watch the series, you'd kind of get some of the in-jokes.
Sure, yeah.
If you're a fan of him and you watch the show, then obviously you get this enhanced enjoyment from it. But if you like just classic games too, it's kind of funny to play the parodies of him and to read the satire versions of game magazines.
Yeah. I mean, he has his little voice clips and stuff because you play as yourself, playing as the little kid version of him that's also being, challenged by the evil cybernetic demon version of him. So
It's very meta.
yeah, a little bit.
And I mean, is it like WarioWare where you just jump from like a menu screen, or is there? Is it a game wrapped in mini games?
It's not like rapid fire. I mean, you can freely play any of the games outside of the little challenges, and so it's like that. And the games are pretty damn complete and kind of remarkably good looking for what they are. The Star Prince shooting game, that's a pretty good rip-off of Star Soldier, and that's a really good shooter in my opinion for what it is, which is a sort of fake 8-bit shooter.
Right.
And if you put yourself in the mindset of, okay, I'm in the 80s, yeah, it's pretty damn good for the 80s.
The show, he plays all these old games and they're all really hard and he dies a lot. But in this DS version, are they going to be as hard? Can we expect that kind of same challenge? Or is it more, it's easier but you get the same nostalgic feeling?
The challenges are kind of easy, but the games on their own can be difficult. The RPG has, its ups and downs, and it can be pretty difficult, and you can instantly die in it. And the ninja games are kind of hard as you go along, the enemies will get faster and stuff like that, so it's kind of weird. The challenges aren't as hard, but the games themselves
but
are.
easy objectives.
Yeah, pretty much.
What are the challenges?
Let's see, all sorts of stuff. It's in the racing game, for example, you have to beat the first track without drifting. And so you basically have to hold on the acceleration the entire time and just go through that. And then the first one in the RPG is get to level 7. And then later on it's beat the boss at the 4th floor of the big dungeon and stuff like that. Which can actually be pretty early on in the game.
Right.
So. And it's other stuff beat this level or beat that level.
So coming from someone like me, the show is really fun, but I have only seen bits of it. What you guys have told me of it, what games does this riff off of? That if I was just to play the game, which would probably be, I'd probably play the game over sitting down, watching the complete series to get the in jokes.
Yeah.
What games does it riff that I would, find fun?
It's kind of hard to explain because there are multiple influences in each one. The last Ninja game, Haguru Man 3, that's a mix of Ninja Gaiden and Castlevania and Mega Man and stuff like that. I'm a face. I mean, it's kind of obvious what they're ripping off, but there's also little bits and touches that are borrowed from other games and stuff, and so it's
kind of taking a snapshot of the genre from that time period, but then also putting in nuances from the different games, you said Mega Man and Ninja Gaiden and stuff like that.
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. You're moving up.
Yes, finally understanding. Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool because I think they'd have a hard time getting the show to come over in subtitled form or anything like that for people to get interested. But the game would be a really interesting way to get people interested in the concept of the show. Like, how do I, if I saw the game, I kind of like the mini games. Like, how do I even get the show other than the internets?
The internet's
You have the official sets here. How do I track it down? Like, is it like these PlayAsia websites or whatever? I mean,
no, I mean I just get them from Japanese Amazon, and they'll
Really?
yeah, it's easy to set up.
You can watch them without knowing Japanese and you can just enjoy him like getting frustrated. You can kind of, if you know the game, you know what's going on. And even though you don't know what they're saying, it's still pretty entertaining for the most part. But if you really want to know, Ray actually also has a fan site that has an episode guide of all the episodes of what's going on. So
how long has this show been going on for?
Since '03, but I mean back then it was just like kind of an interview show, and so by the second season they changed it into the challenge stuff because it was far funnier.
It sounds really cool. I mean, it'd be really interesting to see if they could somehow adapt it, but it seems it would be pretty difficult unless you were to bring like the complete package over. And even then, I have no idea what kind of like some personality they would put behind it to do the same sort of thing.
Ray Bartle.
Yeah, Ray, would you be the Game Center CX America guy?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good idea. I like the sound of that. Or Dave Coulier.
There you go.
Sorry.
Very good suggestion.
Very good.
Ryan, why are you hanging out in this creepy dark area in the office? Try to find you at your desk.
Because it's darker here, and I'm playing Dimensions.
And that is all I know. I know my mother. I know my father.
It's a 60 frames per second first-person survival horror shooter on the DS, and it sort of works.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it first at PAX. We just happened to be walking by the Gamecock booth, and it stands out because you're looking at it, you're like, oh, it's first person. You go over and touch it, and then all of a sudden it's 60 like you can tell right away. You're like, I've never seen something this smooth.
Like,
on
this
DS.
is like the fastest 3D game on DS right now, probably.
Yeah.
Control it like any other shooter you do on the DS.
Right.
And that's awkward in and of itself. So you can look and switch between your weapon and the flashlight and fire. Like, this is the ideal way to hold it if you're approaching it like as a normal console shooter.
And that looks pretty fucking
awkward
god
to
awful.
hold. It's not that fun.
Yeah, I hold it actually with one hand, just one finger on the left button and one finger on the D-pad. And you're right, you can switch weapons with the R trigger, but you can also do it by tapping on the screen, and it goes really fast. So I found myself just playing mostly with the touchscreen, the buttons, the D-pad, and the one L button to fire. And to me, that's fine. I actually do like the way that FPS controls on DS. I like it in theory. A lot of people were talking about when the Wii came out, was it like going to change the way that FPS was played, or was it going to be superior to the dual analog setup that we're used to?
It's kind of almost a keyboard and mouse setup.
Too much of your time with the Wii when you're pointing is spent trying to keep it level, or spent trying to
Because you have that sensor bar, and if you move out of the sensor bar area, like, you're screwed.
Right, you're never trying to keep your mouse level on your desk or something like that. You just move it a little bit and it works. Very tiny movements that you make on the touchscreen are translated into big movements in the game, and so you can do things like turn around really, really fast.
The reason this works with the limited controls is because the enemies are slow, you're not fighting a whole lot of them, and that compensates for the fact that the controls aren't very good.
I totally disagree. I think that the controls are excellent. Like, I love controlling the game. That's my favorite part about it. And I don't like the combat because I think the enemies are lame. All they do is walk at you and attack, or fire at you and run right at you. And I find myself just backing up and firing. Part of the problem is, like you said, there's this weird fog of war in the game. You get a flashlight pretty early on, you can turn it on, then all of a sudden the draw distance looks really good. But then you turn off your flashlight, and there's just this wave of blackness that's 5 feet in front of you. If instead this was just like a first-person shooter where you were just running around and shooting things, of course, yeah, it would take you a little bit longer to get used to the controls if you weren't used to it. But then, like, I think you'd be really playing to the advantage of what this engine does, which is that it runs at 60 frames. It's simple enough that you can move and shoot pretty easily, at least for me. The survival horror part of it is good because the atmosphere is good. It gives it this like kind of limited color palette that works on the DS. You know, it's like the same as any Silent Hill sort of thing.
It's a strangely compelling game, and there's not a lot of story to it. There's not that much going on.
The puzzles are kind of cool though, and there aren't enough of them. It doesn't like go quite far enough. And it doesn't really take advantage of the touchscreen in most of the puzzles, but it does have the thing that some of the DS games have been doing lately, where you have a notebook and you like write notes for yourself and all that stuff.
Like, I don't want to sound down about it, because I really do admire a lot what the game does. If this was somehow like an interactive like audio book or something, like if I was reading like the Stephen King's like The Mist audiobook, and like I was like running through this environment, like sort of like it was more of an adventure game or something like that, where the combat wasn't so heavy.
This is very much an action game, right? But it also shares a lot with a game like Hotel Dusk. But at the same time, like both of those games have deficiencies that could be solved by like integrating, you know, like elements of this game and elements of that game together. So there really is this kind of first-person adventure story.
And I think there is like this game that we are wishing for like out there at some point, especially because it doesn't seem like the DS is going anywhere anytime soon.
I don't think so. Everyone feels differently about Assassin's Creed, right? But the thing that they did right in that game is Altair running around and jumping and climbing up buildings. Like that, no one can argue, like that's pretty well done.
Right.
In this game, this is almost the same situation. The base mechanic is like so fun. Just like for me, running, turning the camera,
it's
shooting,
super fast. You're running around this environment, and it gets like those basic things that haven't been done right, and that's what makes the game like it makes you excited for what other people could do with what the game has laid down as a foundation for like DS shooters.
Right, like if they used this technology and then just hired people with a few better ideas as far as like game design goes.
Yeah, I mean, in this game, I mean, it has some cool ideas, and I like the fact that it's pretty basic, like as far as like a survival horror like shooter game, and I think it could be like a good setup for a sequel. Like there's not a lot of meat to the story, but when you're playing a DS game, you know, it's okay. Like it's fun for what it is, and like I appreciate what Dimension does for what it is, and it does make me really excited for what other people can do like with an engine like that.
Totally. You know, John Carmack just started like id Mobile with his wife, you know, and one of the things he was talking about is that after they finished Orcs and Elves, they were talking about doing Quake Arena for the DS, and now, like after playing this, I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, I think it would be great.
We like what they did on the tech side, and like want it to get melded with something else on the creative side.
And it's exciting for exactly the reason you just said, which is that the DS isn't going away. So the fact that we need to
start resolving that we are going to have this machine
around
for the next like 4 years probably. Like Nintendo has no reason to get rid of it. It's not slowing down, but it's really cool and it's fun and it's an engaging way to do like a handheld shooter.
Right. It's not gonna win any Game of the Year awards or anything like that. But if you're the type of person that thinks like, hey, a first-person shooter that plays sort of correctly on DS is a kind of a good idea, that's probably worth checking out.
Yeah, it's a cool game that's gonna get criminally overlooked for several good reasons, but there's still plenty of reasons to check it out, and I would hope that people at least like seek it out, or if a friend gets it, like show people like this stuff does work on the DS. It's just a matter of someone putting we have all the pieces, but they're just in different games, and someone needs to just shove them together into one.
Totally. Anyway, I guess how's that show going? Is it
Game Center? Yeah, no, we're about to watch another episode. You know, Ray has converted me.
Maybe it'll come next week.
I know,
don't
maybe, you know.
I gotta finish this tape.
All right, fair enough. All right, see you, man.
Catch you later.
I'm glad that you guys invited me to your club. I don't think I would have checked this out otherwise.
You know what? I'm glad too.
Yeah?
I'm incredibly glad. I mean, you were like the third ever person to actually want to be here of their own volition.
Well, you did tell me I was gonna play Rock Band, but that's cool. Like it's all right. I'm glad that I'm here now.
So, Patrick, will you be joining us next week then? Can I put your name down on the club
this
roster?
room, I don't wanna push anyone out.
No, yeah, totally. This room, is that okay?
Screw it, sign me up. I'm hooked. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I like it.
Good, Patrick. Will you accept Arino Sama into your heart?